Hello, everybody. I'll start the stream here, or start talking here shortly. Just getting some things organized here. Yeah, power's out. Power's going out in multiple locations. I'm here on the southwest side of Boulder, and we've had some probably winds over gusting to 50. Let's just go right to it here, guys. We're gonna. So in the last hour or so. In the foothills and back west of me here, back southwest of Boulder. These are mesonet sites back to west. You can see where I'm at, southwest of Boulder, and I've had some wind gusts way over 50 here, even in 70. I can tell you in Jefferson County, Boulder County, we're getting reports of power lines down. There's power outages. I do have an active fire back southwest. I'll jump on that in a second, but these are the latest, some of the reports over the last hour or so. Wind gusts at a little over 10 o'clock local time here, mountain time. Wind gusts over 80 from the utility company there about an hour ago, hour and a half ago, 103 mile an hour wind gust. That was an hour and a half ago by another utility company, 95 mile an hour. So we're getting anywhere from 80 to 103, 105 mile an hour winds now west of the divide here and back in the range here, back west in the foothills and west of Boulder. So back on the southwest side. So we'll look at the winds and basically local forecast office out of Boulder is including Cheyenne. It's basically just an extreme critical fire weather. It comes down here and it's going to actually go even down west of Denver here, but critical fire weather on up at Cheyenne. Let me go a little bit farther out here on my map here. Sorry about that. It does cover a big area. It looks like Cheyenne's up there gusting to 50 plus now, but this critical weather, it kind of is like this. It comes down the foothills here. It goes back west of Denver here like this. This is the area. So people live up here. They're used to it. They understand it. Really low humidity, really strong winds. Got a mountain wave, and that's what's happening today, right? So there's power outages across Boulder County. I've been listening to Scanner. There's been a number of power lines come down across roads. No active fires I'm aware of currently in Boulder County or Jefferson County, but there is an active fire back southwest here of Denver, and I'll jump to that in a second. But right now, if I go outside, it's just, I'll roll my window down. The winds are very, they change directions, and they'll gust to 40, 50 miles an hour, and I've got a lot of leaf debris, just small, there's the trees will lose some leaves, and leaves pile up in the corners of the buildings, and the winds change direction. Right now, I've got a very strong west, kind of a west-northwest wind, probably at about 290 roughly, gusting to 40 to 60 miles an hour, and it comes in waves. It's like a gust. It's kind of like a hurricane situation where they come in waves. It's not continuous, but I can tell you the computer models are saying from here on through about 5, 6 o'clock, right here in the foothills, we're going to sustain up at 50, and then we're going to start getting in that 70 to 90 gust to 100, especially in the Boulder County area along the foothills here. That was going to be more of consistent higher winds. The humidity's dropping. It's down. Looks like we're about 10%, 15% right now. So the dew points are dropping. Humidity's dropping. Very dry, very windy conditions. And also the utility companies here have proactively shut down a lot of utilities across the area at different counties. And there's too many to even go into it because they're widespread. But I can tell you back in the mountain range here, a lot of gusts, 80, 70, gust over 100 now in the last hour, west of Boulder, northwest of Boulder. So that is going to continue. And let's look at satellite and see if I've got any fire weather on satellite. This is the this right here is just the latest HER, and this is 15Z run, and it's basically showing me what the wind's going to do, what time this evening and this afternoon. Is what time? That's at about noon. It's got 84 knots at Boulder, so it's just right on the front range here. You're going to be 60, 70, 80 knots, so we're almost 100 miles an hour up and down the 30 Highway 30 corridor here. This is going to be Boulder County, all the way back down to west of the metro, Denver metro, and the foothills. This is a corridor. This is where we're going to have extreme fire weather behavior at Jefferson County, Boulder County, and obviously we're going to still have 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds over a gigantic area and the western Nebraska Panhandle, southeastern, eastern Wyoming. So this is not just confined to the Front Range. It also got extreme fire weather conditions well up into the Cheyenne Truckwater area along the I-25 corridor is also going to be a problem today. So and I can tell you we're starting to mix out a little bit. The clouds, the wave clouds are starting to come out, and just as these wave clouds are passing now, winds are really getting very, very strong here in Boulder area. And look at the leaves. Look at the leaves here just tumbling in this school parking lot. Look at this. Look at this. I'm getting hit. The car's rocking now. I just got hit with probably a 70+ mile an hour wind here. My car is literally shaking like I'm in a hurricane. It's crazy, right? The whipping of the winds. But if we get any fires going, it's going to be extreme. But this, you can see what we're talking about here, 84 knots, and that's going to about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock time frame, right around that's around noon. And then with time, this as you go out with time, this 75 knots, 80 knots. So these are anywhere from 80 to 100 mile winds all in this area, right? Along again the Highway 34. And I'll show you where I'm at right now. Going to continue to move and change, but we're just west right now. I'm just west of the 93 corridor and the local Boulder office, National Weather Service here in Denver, and the Boulder office all on this 93 corridor here and south of 36. But along the 93 corridor here, this is where most of the models say we have extreme winds this afternoon, right? On this 93 corridor on the foothills here, this is where we're going to have the most extreme fire behavior once if and when fires break out. And I can tell you there's a number of power lines coming down. The good thing is a lot of the utilities in the general area have been turned off, but there's still a lot that are on. But if we get a fire breakout anywhere in here, and I can tell you just the couple hours, I flew up this morning, but just in the last hour, the winds have really, really picked up here along the foothills, and there's really kind of a west-southwest, west-northwest, and it comes in waves, right? And it's very similar, almost like I hate to compare it to a hurricane because it's not, but you get these bursts of winds that you'll be 30 to 40, and then all of a sudden you'll get 60, for 10 seconds, and then it drops back down, and it comes in waves. But the people live up here are used to this kind of stuff. But again, this could be a historical type firestorm once they break out, and they're continuing to say Boulder County and Jefferson County, you got to be on extreme awareness this afternoon. I had breakfast at a place here in Boulder this morning, and it was a very good breakfast. And my waitress, I asked her how the locals were feeling about the fire situation. She said, well, 4 years ago, I was here in Boulder, and I live 4 miles east of Boulder, and she said my house burned down. She said the fire started west of Boulder, it went through past Boulder, jumped the highway, and then it circled back north at nighttime, and it burned her house down. She was, to say nervous about today is an understatement. But I noticed at the local breakfast place there, coffee shop there in downtown Boulder, people were on their phones. It was packed, and everybody was on their phone watching data and watching reports, and people are checking on each other, which is what they need to do, right? So anyway, we'll see how this unfolds today. I have no idea what's going to happen. I hope there's no fires, but I can tell you the winds are already, forget the fires, just the wind and the wind damage. And they're used to getting these kind of winds up here, 80, 100 mile an hour winds. So it's not that uncommon in the Front Range here. So it's not, totally uncommon. But if you add the very low humidity and the very winds and the extreme amount of winds over a long duration, it's not like a 1 hour, you get a frontal passage, you get winds for an hour or so that kick up and then they die down and you go to a north wind and humidity comes up. It's not that kind of situation today. You got this dry wind that's downsloping, and the air is going to heat up as well as to accelerate the winds in these canyons, as well as very dry air. And we got a mountain wave developing right west of us here, and that mountain wave continues to intensify during the day. The winds are going to get very high, and we've got winds now over 100 miles an hour west of me here, about 20 miles in the mountains, right? And you can see all the leaf debris just blown through the air. And I passed a shopping center back west of me here, and as I was passing the shopping center, a lot of times in the plains, and you see this obviously in Denver and other places, when we get a big gust front that moves through, or a surge of wind, you'll see it picks up the paper and the bags and will fly in the air, and just all like just this debris in the air rotating, right? About 100 feet above the shopping center, because the wind is so strong, it's just picking up everything on the ground and it's flying it. So I can tell you there's a lot of the police, fire, everybody's on a state, they're very heightened awareness of what's going on. There's a lot of law enforcement out, and there's a lot of people staging in case a fire breaks out so they can rapidly respond. Let me go to another situation here. Let me see. I know we have an active fire back southwest, and let me get the name of that if I can pull it up. It's back southwest of Denver, and I'll give you the name on it. It was 3 acres and growing, and that was about 15 minutes ago. Let me find that for us. If anybody has any questions in the chat, feel free, ask far away. Don't have all the answers, but I'll try to help you whatever I can do there. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing if I'm in your neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah, and the temperature is pretty extreme in the area too. There's some areas that are probably already in the low to mid 60s, and those other areas that are probably in the 40s and 30s this morning. I know some areas I see on the map here in the low 60s, mid 60s now, immediately west of me. Looks like Boulder, 64 with a 12 dew point. So there's all kinds of, the temperature and humidities are all over the place with the how the temperature is across the area. Looks like south side of the metro, 64, and the south side down by Centennial. And then as you go back up here, it looks like I got into Denver just in the nick of time, because right after my plane landed, unfortunately, I understand there's been some delays at Denver airport because of a lot of strong winds and extreme turbulence. And I'll tell you, when my plane landed around 6:45-ish, I had very high winds. It was a very rough landing in the sense of when I was descending from 15,000 feet to 10,000, which is not uncommon up here, right? You get this, a lot of bouncing as you drop in layers through the atmosphere. But as I was approaching DIE from the east and southeast out of Tulsa this morning, it was very bumpy. And since then, since I've been on the ground since just about 7 a.m., it's much worse now. I understand there's been some flights that have been on divert, some planes didn't get to land, that kind of stuff. And I'm just looking here, my cars, look at the debris blowing across. If you can see it, guys, there's just lots of gravel debris, tree debris blowing across the road, just like surging. The evergreens up here are bending now, very strongly. Now, I'm just going to point out my window here. Winds are probably on the southwest side of Boulder. I'm guessing we're over 50 now, at gusts at times 55. The winds are very strong now here. No fires I see in the area, but the winds are definitely picking up dramatically in this area. Looks like just north of Boulder, they're reporting 66 with about a 12 dew point, 10 dew point, 10 dew point, 66 temperature right now. Dew point's 12, west-southwest, 31, gust of 49 miles an hour there at Boulder. Dew point's 12. It continues to drop southwest of 240 degrees. That's kind of a west-southwest wind. That's kind of what I'm experiencing up here. The winds are, because I'm close to the foothills, my winds are changing direction. You see I'm back southwest here of the Boulder proper. And we have some utility companies cutting some tree trimming companies cutting lines on the southwest side of Boulder. There's some dead trees and there's some big power line or big tree limbs over the power lines, and they're actively cutting those trees down about 30 minutes ago. A row of about 10 trees, big trees, about 2-foot diameter trees, actually, big trees, and they were proactively cutting them down because there's a high probability those were going to fall, right? I did see a tree in the southwest side of Boulder, probably in this general area. There's so much going on here already. Just south of downtown area, there was a tree that had 2-foot tree had split and had fallen in somebody's car and like crushed it in their front driveway. And that's happened sometime either overnight or this morning. I didn't see it fall, but it's a fresh fall because the tree was like bright white, where it split. And so I do have a car that got literally smashed on the south side of Boulder from a tree that split and smashed a car. So let alone the fire risk, just the damaging winds to trees, power lines, and telephone poles across the whole area is going to be a problem today, right? Let me find this active fire back southwest. Give me just a second here. Let me see if I can pull it up. I had to switch that over there. That's not in this immediate vicinity, but I can tell you, it's very warm here, very windy. And again, let me go back to radar. I'm just looking at radar. I'm trying to look at certain products to see if I can see any fires breaking out yet. But I need to switch over to the scanner. But nothing right now, but I'm looking at satellite also. We've got other tools besides radar. We've got other tools with us that right here in UCAR and this College DuPage site, but we have, they have a special satellite that looks for fire weather, right? And if we get that going here, let me see. Another thing I've noticed, let me switch over. Another thing, even though I have 5G, I do have Starlink, it's on. I'm gonna switch over to Starlink, and what's happened is, you lost my feed. I am on Starlink. on some of the equipment, but I can tell you, even with the amount of people on their cell phone already in this area, the cell service is kind of getting tasked already. There's very high winds. Whoa! Oh my gosh! Wow! I just got super blasted in the car. Wow! Wow, man, I got blasted hard. Wow, that was like gravel and tree debris. That was probably a gust of, I don't know, 70. I just got mega blasted inside the car. You heard the gravel hitting the car. I mean, that was crazy coming across the parking lot. I'm kind of in an open area because I don't want a tree to fall on me, on one of these side streets here. But wow, that was crazy. Let's go back to my satellite here and let's look at, there we go. It's up and it's loading. So don't see any, I'm looking for any hot spots on satellite. Don't see any yet. We don't have a big enough fire yet to say, hey, I've got a fire here. But this is a 3.9 micron satellite, and we'll look, and it'll make a black or a red dot if a fire breaks out. And sometimes it may take 30 minutes or an hour for it to pop. It's got to get pretty good size, but nothing yet, right? So actively looking to fire deal, and the winds are really high up north too as well. So we'll just continue to watch that. But the winds are going to be a problem all day long in the Front Range in this area this afternoon as we have this extreme fire weather ongoing right now across the area. It looks like they've got a lot of METAR sites, OSAW sites up north. It looks these are highway department up there on the interstate east of Cheyenne. Winds gusting 60. 60 is a pretty common number so far this morning. And overnight, 61 OSAWs up there near Cheyenne area, both east and west of there and north of there at 58. So this whole area, Chuckwater, all the way down. There's Chuckwater just south, speaking of Chuckwater, 72 miles an hour at Chuckwater. That's up to the north of Cheyenne, right? So the whole I-24, 25 corridor up here, all up to this area, extreme damaging winds, also fire weather is extreme. Looks like back west there, Lamar, winds 58. So you got to get the idea. 30 to 50 is pretty common, and then you get these gusts, very localized. They're not widespread. You get these localized gusts. But again, Boulder County and Jefferson County, we're very worried about, and Weather Service is, fire weather is, that we're going to get some extreme fires breaking out in these counties in the next hour or two, based on all indications. Again, we may get lucky today with a lot of the utility companies pre-shutting off power across this area in sections. They're doing it, it's called a grid shutdown in certain areas where they know they're going to have extreme winds, or proactively started that, I guess, last night, and then it's continuing to expand. Some areas, they said, hey, it's not going to be as bad as we thought in certain areas, so they let the power stay on in certain areas. In other areas, they're turning it off as the conditions change. They're changing with the conditions, right? So that's what's happening right now. That's not really a precept, it's just some ground, but I'm just looking to see if we get any kind of smoke or anything, because generally the velocity levels and CC off dual pole will give us an indication we've got an active fire. It'll jump out on the radar, and you can see it going on the radar. Sometimes you're lucky enough to see that, right? But if you get a big fire going, you'll definitely see it on the radar, right? So you just kind of wait and see right now, and we'll see what happens. Hope there's no fires today in the area, because the winds are definitely going to be extremly dangerous. You need to have your go bags, what we call go bags, in the sense of if you got insurance papers, these kind of things. If the house, neighborhood does catch on fire, the area catches on fire, you got to have your bag, like, hey, I've got to leave in a moment's notice. If they issue evacuation orders from the local EMA fire command in these counties, today's one of those things you don't wait. This is a deal. If a fire breaks out anywhere, it was going to jump fast. It'll hyper jump very, very fast. We get winds gusting to 70, 80, gust 100 today out in this area. The embers will just hyper jump. I mean, the fire might be 2 miles west of you 5 minutes ago, and then it's already past you in the next 5 minutes, right? So those are the kind of things you need to be aware of today, and just be extremely situational. Where I do know a fair amount of schools, a lot of the schools in the area are closed. A fair amount of businesses are closed, not all, but there's a fair amount of businesses, especially here in the Boulder area, that are closed. I know I'm sitting in the school parking lot. It's closed here at East Creek Elementary School. It's closed. So that's a good thing, right? Because you don't want kids and families out in high risk areas if a fire breaks out. So anyway, we'll see how this unfolds today. But if you're in this area, be extremely situational aware. And again, as we get closer to 6 o'clock, the conditions will get quite a bit better, and the winds will die down. But then after 6, but it won't be as high. thank you. Fire in the park in Jefferson County. I was here as Rolling Creek Fire. That's correct. Thank you. Yes, on Watch Duty. Yeah. If you want to download an app that's just unbelievable, matter of fact, you can donate to them. I highly suggest donating to them. These guys are incredible. It's called the Watch Duty app. It's download on Apple and Google as well. And it gives you instant, if a fire breaks out, it gives you instant alert notification. Hey, fire's broke at this location. For wherever you live at, you can say, hey, I want to be notified if a fire breaks out nearby. It's pretty quick. And so the fire command says, hey, we got an active fire. Alert goes off on your phone and you can see where it's at from you, even if it's a county away. But I use that when I'm out doing fire weather. They use this exclusively. A lot of people do in California and out west. But it's a really awesome app. I mean, it's really awesome app. They kind of tell you where the power outages are around. They also tell you there's active fire, and they give you real-time updates, like the fire's 3 acres, it's burning, it's out of control, or we've got it under control, which direction it's spreading. But I would definitely highly recommend that app if you along the Front Range today, because it's active and they're monitoring it and they're actually putting out reports in real time, which is very good. I won't go to the scanner right now, but I will tell you the scanner has been very active. I've got weather radio going from both Denver and Boulder here along the Front Range. Basically their message is winds 30 to 50, gusts 80 to 100 miles an hour along the Highway 30 and west. This is the foothills area. They're hammering this area right here. If a fire breaks out, it's going to be extreme. And the word they use, explosive firestorm, is the words they used in their updates in these counties. So if fires do break out, it will travel, it will grow rapidly, and with this steep terrain and these high winds, it'll get out of control in a matter of minutes. I mean, really fast, because it's extremely brown and dry up here. They're almost in a drought. They are in a drought situation here, so they're way under on the precipitable water for the last 6 to 9 months up here. It's very dry. Obviously, we're in the winter months, but we're also extremely dry ground conditions and vegetation, very low humidity, so things will spread very fast. This is very high for rapid fire growth, that kind of situation. That's it. If I get any updates, if I get anything breaking, like I got a fire breaking out here in Jefferson County or right here in Boulder County, that's going to impact people, or if a fire breaks up here, I'll go live instantly, right? But I think as we get in the next hour, noon to 5, I highly suspect, don't have a clue where, but I highly suspect something's going to happen, right? It's just, it's going to happen. It's extremely tinderbox. Be very, very careful, please. Don't throw out any cigarette butts. Don't do any yard work today. Don't do anything outside. That's going to spark a fire. Be very, very careful. And stay close to your family today. Stay very, very close to your family on where your family members are, and if the situation gets out of control. All right, that's it. I'll give you a little bit of update a little bit later. That's all I know right now. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Bye.